Good morning, cosplay fans! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia, aka Darkarnival Butler, master cosplayer, YouTuber, and of course, part-time Disney adult. In this video series, I'm sharing with you my experience traveling to Disney World for the very first time. This is day 2 of my trip, also known as my first time discovering Magic Kingdom. Ready? Let's go! I woke up early to get ready and put on my first outfit of the day along with my mini ears. I grabbed my bag and my first Disney visit pin, and just like that, I was on my way to the resort bus station. While exiting the building, I was hilariously greeted by Ursula's assets, and I had the time to take a look around the Lion King section of the resort with all the statues of the movie's beloved characters. Just before leaving the resort, I stopped by the cafeteria to fill my mug with my personal morning go-to for this trip, a mix of coffee and hot chocolate. Up on the bus we go! Next up, Magic Kingdom! Seriously guys, even the amount of vlogs and documentaries I watched about Disney World could not compare to what it felt like finally being there and seeing Cinderella's castle for the first time in the distance, at the end of gorgeous Main Street, USA. Trust me when I tell you, I couldn't stop freaking smiling the whole time I was there. It was so emotional for me, even though I didn't cry yet. That's a story for another time. But the whole moment felt so surreal and like a dream to me, almost like if I was in a totally different world. After spending way too much time taking photos, videos, and admiring the castle, I finally walked my way back up Main Street, USA for my secondary mandatory stop of the day, meeting the legend himself, Mickey Mouse at the Tower Square Theater. I mean, what a better way to start this journey, right? I was so nervous and excited to meet him. So this is what it's like to be a crazy Disney adult, huh? And since I was wearing my first visit pin, all the staff and especially Mickey gave me such a warm welcome, and it felt like a very special moment. I was now more than ready to explore and discover more of Magic Kingdom. My first stop was in Adventureland, and my first ride in Disney was the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney movies, especially because of the songs and music. Thankfully for me, we could hear the music and themes of Aladdin every time the ride was in motion, and it felt so nostalgic. And can you imagine my excitement when, as I was getting ready for the ride to start, Aladdin and Jasmine themselves came in and embarked one of the carpets to ride with us? How cool is that? And trust me, it is not the last time magical moments like this happened during this whole trip. Jungle Cruise is a huge classic in Disney World. I've been seeing footage of this ride on TV since I was 5 years old, so it was obviously on the top of my list when it came to rides I wanted to go on. Our jungle guide was entertaining the riders and cracking a lot of jokes. Some landed, some didn't, but hey, that's totally fine. I had such a good time. The scenery was so cool looking and the animal animatronics were so realistic at times. It was very impressive, especially for a ride that has been around for so long. Okay, so that was fun. We actually had to wait about 40 minutes, so it was a little bit less than what I was expecting. So now we are continuing our tour of Adventureland. Let's go! Next up was the famous Pirates of the Caribbean ride, another classic in Disney. But since it was a dark ride, I had a harder time recording images on my phone. But the whole thing was so epic and so worth it. Again with the incredible score in the background. Makes me wish for a new installment in the franchise. Heading into Frontierland, one of the longest waiting lines of the day was for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, one of the most recently renovated rides at the time. Before that, it was called Splash Mountain, and to be honest, besides the change of characters and overall decor meant to represent the Princess and the Frog universe, I thought the main essence of the ride was still there, from what I was seeing back then in media. The gift shop of that ride had probably some of my favorite style of merch, super fancy and elegant, and also super cute. Walking around Frontierland a little more, I came across the Hall of Presidents, which I skipped because I wasn't there to think about politics in any way, shape or form. Plus, I was hungry, so I decided to have a lunch at Sleepy Hollow Refreshments. There I had a waffle with sweet and spicy maple fried chicken along with a soft drink. This was surprisingly so good, crispy and just the right amount of spicy and sweetness. Tasted more like honey than maple to be honest, but still so delicious. After lunch, I headed to another classic in Magic Kingdom, the Haunted Mansion. I remembered seeing footage of this ride as a child as well, so I knew this ride was a must. But I wasn't, and I'm still not familiar with the Haunted Mansion lore, so I didn't know what to expect, really. Well, this ride was ultimately my favorite of the day. It was very dark, so I couldn't record anything. But my jaw was on the floor with how amazed and fascinated I was by all the elements and all the rooms, the special effects, the music, the songs. Fun fact, they had technical difficulties 3 times while I was on it. I don't know what's going on right now, but the ride is stopped and I'm trapped in the Haunted Mansion. Please send help! And it still ended up being the most memorable ride of my day. That's how good it was to me. Okay, side rant. I was very disappointed to realize that the only section of the park dedicated to Rapunzel in Magic Kingdom was a toilet area. Really, Disney? You couldn't find more to do with Rapunzel than a toilet building? Imagine having your family photos taken in front of Rapunzel's beautiful painting on the wall of a public bathroom. And as for Rapunzel's tower, which was quite hidden from the guest's view by the way, I didn't even notice it was there before the next few days. And as soon as I started pointing it up and taking photos, I noticed that the other guests were also just starting to notice it. I get that this tower is supposed to be well hidden according to the tale in the movie, but they better upgrade their game, especially with the new live action coming up, because this is kind of disappointing. Anyway, moving on! I was now wandering around Fantasyland, with all the colorful buildings and rides that totally hyped my inner child and awakened my nostalgia even more. One important thing I had in mind was to go to the Encanto meet and greet with Mirabel. Encanto is my favorite most recent Disney movie. I'm quite obsessed with it. I even cosplayed as Camilo a few years ago. So I was super excited to meet Mirabel, which I still would love to cosplay as one day. She was super fun, bubbly, and enthusiastic, and she loved my butterfly earrings, which I wore specially for this moment. Not long after that, it was time for me to go get in place to watch the Festival of Fantasy parade for the very first time. Again, it was super surreal to witness this moment in real time after all those years. I'm so happy I was also able to capture it entirely on video. My favorite part was 100% the incredible Maleficent steampunk dragon. Also, some characters noticed I was filming and interacted with the camera, which made this moment even more priceless. Continuing my tour of Fantasyland, I then went on the Mad Tea Party ride, another classic in Disney. I really had fun on this one, not gonna lie. As I was waiting to go on the Prince Charming Royal Carousel, it started raining a lot, which is typical in Florida. Thankfully, I was under the carousel's roof the whole time, so well protected. The rain didn't last very long and it stopped right before I exited the ride. Again, Disney magic was on my side that day. Okay, for the next one, I had to brace myself because I was about to experience the big one, the classic, the famous, or infamous, It's a Small World. This musical ride featuring countries and cultures from around the world has definitely become both so iconic and so cursed along the years, but I genuinely loved it. I never thought that having this tune in my head all day afterwards would make me so happy. Don't worry, I will spare your ears for the most part. But I found it fun and interesting that the song tone and rhythm changed depending on which country we were in along the ride. This ride might not be for everyone, but I found it to be very adorable, creative, and a beautiful celebration of diversity, history, and culture of the world. The Little Mermaid ride was next. Again, a movie that is really dear to my heart. The overall vibe was very fun and colorful, but the animatronics were sometimes a bit uncanny. Not my favorite ride, sadly, but still a fun time. I made a quick stop to Gaston's Tavern for a quick snack. I got myself what they call a crème brûlée croissant, which is more like a flaky pastry with crème brûlée cream inside. It was very good. Last ride of the day was the Seven Dwarfs Mine. The line for this one is always quite long, but I totally get why. It is both a dark ride and a roller coaster. It goes so fast with just the right amount of strong turns and ups and downs, and it's exactly the type of ride that I love. I had a blast on that ride, definitely a highlight. Now it was time for my first ever Disney dinner, and I wanted to start strong with the iconic Be Our Guest restaurant. One word to describe this restaurant would be spectacular. When you check in at the front desk with your reservation, they make you wait in a little corridor with all those sets of armors that you can actually hear talk among themselves while you wait. It's pretty funny. At some point, when your table is ready, they call your name and they then lead you into the grandiose and magnificent ballroom, which is a recreation of the famous ballroom from Beauty and the Beast. I was so overstimulated, I could have stayed there looking at this room for ages. But of course, I was there to eat, so I looked through the menu and made my selection. For the appetizer, I had the escargot de Bourgogne, which was basically snails with garlic butter and pesto sauce with some bread. Didn't look like it, but it was very good. As an entree, I got the grilled filet mignon with a glass of Cabernet Sauvignon. And finally, for dessert, I chose the dessert trio, which included a lemon jam macaroon, a chocolate tart with some famous grey stuff mousse, and a dark chocolate and orange cognac truffle. A few times during dinner, we had the honor to be visited and greeted by the Beast himself. They even gave us a little print signed by the Beast as a little souvenir of the evening. Once I was done eating, I really didn't want to leave. I wanted to explore a little bit. So I went and visited the two other sections of the restaurant. First, there was the Enchanted Rose Room, which this beautiful statue of Belle and the Beast dancing in the middle of the room. And then there was the West Wing, a darker and spookier room, more intimate, with the display of Prince Adam's damaged portrait and of course the Enchanted Rose glowing in the background. Very cool room, but I had a fondness for the big ballroom, which was a showstopper. It really was a shame to leave. But now it was time for the big finale, the evening fireworks, which happens every evening in Magic Kingdom a bit before closing time. This is the moment where Main Street USA is definitely the most crowded. Getting and especially keeping a good spot in the crowd so you can see everything and also record everything is a huge challenge. I had to move around during the few minutes before the show cause people were making their way around and I'm not the tallest person, so I had to stay on the lookout for any potential threat to my view on the castle. Anyway, the show was incredible, not only cause of the fireworks, but with all the lighting works and the castle that was the literal screen for all the projection of images and Disney movie scenes. The music medleys were magical, and oh my god, they even included a song from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, my favorite Disney movie of all time. I feel like it's such an underrated movie, so I was shook to hear and see it showcased in its full glory during the fireworks. Big highlights for me was the Disney villains portion and the fierce, fiery and explosive Pirates of the Caribbean part. Gosh, that was so good! I seriously can't think of a better way to end my first full day in Disney World. Besides doing some more shopping, of course. My Disney World quote-unquote bachelor degree taught me it was preferable for me to wait and hang around for a while after the fireworks, mostly to avoid the massive crowd of people exiting the park at the same time near the closing hour. So I had plenty of time to look around at all the merch and all the treats each shop had to offer. But alas, it was time for me to go back to my resort and get some rest. It had been a very enjoyable but also a very long day, and another one was waiting for me very soon. That's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this second Disney vlog of mine. And if you watched it all the way till now, thank you so much. On my next video, which is gonna be day 3 of my journey, I'll be discovering Hollywood Studio for the very first time. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, share this video around, and of course, subscribe for more. Until then, dream, believe, keep on cosplaying.